Sometimes when you ask a user to enter a number in a prompt or whatever, and then you try to convert it to be a number, because everything back from a prompt comes back as a string, and you convert it to a number, if they don't enter a number, then it can cause an error. For example, up here, I ask the user to enter their age, and then I try to immediately convert it into an integer. Well, if they don't enter an integer, they don't enter a number that can be converted into an integer, it'll fail. You get one of those traceback errors. Traceback errors are good for you, the programmer, but you wouldn't want to deploy that app to the public and they see something like that. They will not like it at all. There's nothing they can do about it and it will be not meaningful. So we want to find a way to prevent issuing a statement like this if we're not dealing with something that can be converted to an integer. I just did a real simple example here where age, integer, and print it out, and then I break out of the loop. So I'm just running it one time. So we'll do it really quick just to run a test. If I put in 44, it works just fine. If I run it again and I put in letters, DD, and I hit that, I get a traceback error. Invalid literal DD for an int. Can't do it. All right, let's go to a little bit of an upgrade here. So now I've changed the loop to ask for the age and then to first check the age and ask the question, is it numeric? So is numeric is looking at a string. At this point, the age is a string because it's returned from the input. So it's asking, is it a string? Or excuse me, it's asking the string, is it numeric? Does it have all numeric values in there? And if it's true, only then will I try to convert it to an integer. And we'll print it out and then we'll break. We're done. But if it's not true, if I put something in there that's not an integer or not a number, it'll do the else. It'll say, please enter your age as an integer and loop back to the top of the while loop and ask the question again. So let's see that work. Run module. And I put in age 44. I put 4. Okay, but it's a number, so it works. So now let's run it again. And let's put in something wrong. I'll put the DD in again. It says, please enter your name as an integer. F. No, that's no good either. All right, I'll put an age in there, 44, and it does that. It prints the 44 and ends the program. So it did the loop properly. Note here that you don't ever get out of this loop until you enter a numeric value that converts correctly, because that's the only place there's a break. Otherwise, that question will be asked forever. The user would have to close their window to get rid of it. So this works. There is another function called isDigit. For all practical purposes, isDigit and isNumeric will work the same in this class because we're only looking at basic numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of stuff. IsNumeric is better if you're dealing with some scientific notation, you're dealing with fractions or superscripts and things like that. IsNumeric will recognize those correctly, where isDigit will not. One thing that won't work for either function is you can't put commas. You can't say 1, 0. It doesn't understand formatted numbers. You can't use decimals. I can't have 22.4. That dot in there will not be recognized as numeric. So if you need to make sure that the user entered a floating point with a decimal, then you're going to have to use something other than isNumeric to get that to work. So we'll learn more sophisticated ways of checking for data later in the course. All right, so that's the gist. For right now, use isNumeric to check for integers in a string before you start trying to do operations on it that might cause an error. All right, that ends it for this lesson.